with me.
Let's go double chicken on that bad boy. 2 scoops of chicken here. Protein is a crucial part of any diet. So, people on this training program, what you guys are gonna wanna do is bump up your protein to at least 1 gram per pound of body weight. That was a good double chicken burrito bowl. The reason protein is super important because it contains amino acids. Amino acids, they are the building blocks of muscle. So, you consume protein and what happens is your body uses those amino acids to repair and rebuild things throughout your entire body. Muscle being one of those things. So we go to the gym, we break down that muscle. Where you grow is outside of the gym. When you eat enough protein to recover and then you get enough rest, you're able to get back into the gym sooner. So the times that I'm not recovering, I'm sore for too long, or I'm just not recovering from the gym like I should be, I look at the amount of rest I'm getting, the amount of sleep, and then also I'm looking at my diet. Am I getting enough protein? You want to be aiming for at least 1 gram per pound of body weight. So if you're 200 pounds, you want to be getting at least 200 grams of protein. And I know that's a lot. Most people probably aren't getting that much, but on this plan, you're gonna want to up your protein if you're not. So, and the way to do that really is you gotta track. You gotta track your protein. So for at least 5 days, track how much protein you're getting. Even if you've tracked before but haven't done it in a while, try doing this again. What this does is kind of it brings it to your conscious how much you're getting. I know for me, the one macronutrient that tends to slack if I don't constantly think about it is protein. And if you do find that you're low on protein and you need to be increasing it, what you need to do is slowly increasing it. Protein is very expensive for the body to break down, and a lot of times if you overload your body with protein, it can cause digestive issues. So I suggest upping your protein by about 5 or 10 grams a day until you get to that desired amount. I guarantee you though, if you do it slowly, your roommates will thank you, your toilet will thank you, everyone will thank you, because protein, like I said, can be hard on that digestive system, but we need it to build that muscle. You need it on this program. Get more work done with supersets. Supersetting is just picking 2 movements and going back and forth and doing them with minimal rest. After you do both of them, you can then take a longer rest period. The reason we do supersets is because we're able to get more work done in less time. An example of this is the chest exercise like I just did with flies there, and lat pull downs. A couple of tips for supersetting is try to pair muscle groups that are antagonistic to each other. So chest, a pushing movement, followed by a pulling. Those offset one another. So while I'm doing a chest exercise, my back's resting, and vice versa. Tip number 2 on that is whatever you do first on the next exercise grouping that you're doing, make sure you do back first. So let's say I went over and did some rows and some dumbbell bench press, I would do the rows first in there. Give this a try. It'll shorten down your rest time with keeping the intensity, it'll shorten down your total workout time with keeping the intensity through the roof. Give it a go. All right, tip number 3, be carb conscious. Now, carbs aren't the enemy. I don't want you guys to have a fear of carbs. In our society, it's either people are all about carbs or all about protein. It's never good to just alienate one macronutrient. So don't be afraid of carbs, but also at the same time, realize you gotta earn those carbs. The way your body responds to carbs is all dependent on the hormone insulin. So insulin is what shuttles sugar and carbohydrates. All carbohydrates in their simplest forms are sugar. It shuttles them into the cell for use. Now, if you're having all these carbs dumped into your bloodstream and not using them, you become insulin insensitive, which means your body is no longer efficient at shuttling those carbohydrates into your cells. And what happens is you use all the rest of those sugars and carbs and you store them as body fat. The higher body fat you are, the more likely it is that you're also not utilizing carbohydrates properly. So, a couple things we want to look at is carb cycling. On days that we're not training at all, or maybe doing active rest, we're going to back off the carbohydrates a little bit. On days that we're training moderately, we're going to have moderate carbs. And then on days of intense training, we're going to up those carbs and have a high carb day. This carb cycling keeps the body guessing, and again, we never are having extra carbs in our body that we're storing as body fat. Again, this is the best way I've found to stay lean, but also make those quality gains in the gym. Tip number 4, guys. Cardio, it should hurt. We're up here, we're working hard. What we're doing is high intensity cardio. So high intensity cardio, we're pushing that max threshold. Get out of your comfort zone, because what happens is the harder you go in that shorter amount of time, the more oxygen your bodies can consume post-workout. So it's that post-workout oxidative consumption that drives your body to use more energy after your workout. So you're doing a short amount of time, but you're increasing the intensity, and what happens, everything in your body uses and needs more energy. So what happens is your metabolism goes up. The mitochondria in the cells take in more fuel, get rid of it, displace it, use more energy. So you gotta go hard though. On HIIT cardio, it's high intensity for a reason. You have to go as hard as you can. Gotta get out of that comfort zone. You do that, one thing you can do is you can incline treadmill sprint at about 15 for your 1 mile pace. So whatever you can do in 1 mile as fast as you can, let's say you run a 7-minute mile, bump that treadmill up to 15 and run it at your max time for your mile. So incline at 15, 7-minute mile, run on there for 30 to 40 seconds, do that for 7 to 8 rounds. If you're just starting out, maybe you wanna do it 5 or 6 rounds. If you're a complete badass, go 10 rounds. You can do that, or you could do hills like me. Tip number 5, lift with a plan. When you enter in the gym, you need to work smarter, not harder always. And the reason we're gonna be training with heavy weights, with heavy compound movements, it's gonna increase our caloric demand, it's gonna help us shed body fat. I mean, how many times have you entered to the gym and seen somebody do 10 reps when they could have done 10 more reps, but they rack it? You know, what we're gonna be doing here is we wanna be overloading your body, but on the flip side, we need to also know when to do that. Things like heavy squats and deadlifts, they shouldn't be taken to failure more than 1 or 2 times a week. And if you are training in that 1 to 5 rep range, you don't wanna do that every single day. With more movements that are more isolation movements, it's okay then to use that failure principle, training within that 8 to 12 rep range. So again, following a plan is gonna allow you to track your progress, see where you're making progress and where you're not. And that's really what it's about, progressive overload, but also doing it in a way that you're not gonna be overtaxing your body. There's a very fine line that we're gonna be balancing there. I don't know why I agree to this. I'm always signing myself up for stupid stuff. Are we going to parallel?